Good morning, this is Jack from theartchart.net, and this is the pre-market recording for Thursday, the 20th of September. Our disclaimer, we do this for educational purposes only. We're here to share our technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. We're not here to issue trading signals. Now, if you were paying attention on Stan's video last night, that support trend line I'm talking about on an SPX, he was expecting this move up into about the 29.30 area, and then we may well go and back test it at a later level when it's above the weekly pivot, which actually shouldn't take long. It's rising fairly rapidly. So this is us breaking over the, making it a new ATH, and we're getting up into the 29.30 area, watching for possible resistance here. We don't have any positive divergence because we killed off the sell signal. We had lost a few signals overnight, which was good. Nice, good amount of activity. We've got some definite work happening on ES. On NQ, on RUT, I suspect, though I haven't looked this morning. On NQ, we've broken over the monthly pivot and the weekly pivot. Might need a back test, but as long as that's clear, we need to get over this high next, and then we're clear for a run at the all-time high. No current divergence. CL, I'm rolling this into the November contract tonight. Possible short-term high forming here. I've got a weak sell signal fixed. I've got key short-term support in the 70.6 area, which on the November contract is about 50 lower, I think. So about 70.1 area. If that breaks, that opens up a test of this trend line here, and this may be forming an overall pattern. Now, I don't have a decent resistance trend line here yet. Might be getting one if we go higher. NG, like the reversal here, thinking we're probably coming back for a retest of the high to form the second high of a double top and then retrace from there. Liking the downside, a weak 60-minute sell signal is fixed, and Stan's got a target in the 2.7 area, which is a pretty good match with this trend line at the moment. Okay, GC. GC, we've gone up, and that's because DX went down. I'm not expecting, well, we haven't broken up here yet. We haven't broken up on silver. We haven't broken up on copper. I think the rally that Stan's expecting on DX is just delayed, but I'm glad to see it's delayed because it's killed off the possible setup to get back to a retest of the 2018 high on DX, which I didn't want to happen. So I'm glad to see that setup go. No clear breaks up here. We're probably still going to see the next leg down that Stan is expecting, so I wouldn't panic into a long here. We shall see how that goes. But at the moment, this is heading back to trendline resistance, which I've got in the 12.16 area. It could get there, but there's no particular reason that it wouldn't need to. Okay, SI. SI, this still looks like some kind of a flag forming to me. I've written it up as a double bottom. It could be a double bottom, but it still looks more like a flag. If that's the case, we might get as high as 1440, 1445, before returning to retest this low. I'm not convinced the low is in on silver yet, but it might be. Okay, HG. HG, this is a nice clear setup. We had a very clear head and shoulders form. The sell signal has reached the possible near miss target, and this head and shoulders has broken down and then broken back up. I think this is a Janus flag on a move back over the right shoulder high here. I'd expect a retest of yesterday's high and a marginal higher high. That will be making the second high of a larger double top. Okay, ZB. ZB retesting this low. I'm really expecting that to hold. I've got a pretty nice setup for a rally here on ZB. The obvious target would be this trend line here. It could break over that trend line, but I think the odds would favour more it coming back down, making a lower low, possibly as low as into the 138s, but hopefully respecting this trend line here, and then a larger move up. So I think we're reckoning this is in the bottoming process, but this isn't the head and shoulder scenario on TNX now. This is the double top scenario. Chances are this is going to go down. The head and shoulder scenario isn't dead though. In the event that we broke up over this trend line, which is currently in the 141.16 area, then that would be potentially back on the table. But at the moment, it's the alternate scenario. Okay, DX, nice breakdown. That's killed off the overall bottoming setup here, which is great. We've hit trendline resistance, and that's holding so far, which is also great actually. So if we are going to respect these trend lines, and this is a nice pattern now. We've got 3 touches on the this trend line here. We've now got 4 on the support trend line. If that holds, then the obvious next target is this trend line here, currently in the 94.2 area, and a break up could open a bit higher, but I wouldn't be expecting to see an awful lot higher. I don't think this is likely to be an overall double bottom here now, which is, as I said, I'm very happy to see. So, we'll see how that goes. But this is a nice falling wedge. It's respecting all the trend lines at the moment. If that breaks down, then obviously that changes. But at the moment, this looks as though it's going to reverse here, back up into this trend line, currently in the 94.2 area and declining. Okay, UUSD. UUSD has broken up, hasn't quite made it back to this high here. Well, obviously there's a fair amount to go to retest. Get back to the highs of the year for UUSD, but this is a promising sign. I am wondering whether this, wondering whether we might possibly be breaking up from this megaphone, but that's more bullish than I would really be expecting. I'm thinking that we're probably going to get an alternate resistance trend line depending on where this current move up lands. Right, USD/JPY breaking down slightly from the rising channel. Watching this with great interest, but obviously we are expecting to see this go up here. If we see a rally on DX here, then chances are it's going to make that. USD/CAD. USD/CAD is almost at the retest of this low here, expecting continuation lower when we get there, but there is definitely room for a rally. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing, some positive divergence, we shall see. I'm not expecting this to be the second lower double bottom, but we can see a decent rally here. The first obvious target would be trendline resistance, currently in the 1.3 area. Australian dollar. Australian dollar is getting back over the monthly pivots. If that converts, then we've got a target in the IHS target in the 73.75 area. We shall see. Much depends on DX, obviously. Actually, I've marked this as no current divergence, but there is a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing. KC. KC, a little bounce off the low yesterday. We were on a 60-minute buy signal. I'm thinking we don't necessarily need to make it down to this trend line here, but that would be the obvious next trend line target, unless we can break up over this trend line here, which is the 1.0375. Got plenty of positive divergence on the daily as well, so I'd like to see this break directly up. We may need to see this trend line currently in the 92.7 area. SB. SB, I'm looking to see evidence of resistance here. We have a possible Janus flag forming, because this is a clear IHS. It's broken up, and it may be failing. If it fails, we're going to see a retest of this low, and we may well see some continuation lower. We shall see. If we see continuation lower, the obvious target would be a retest of this low. Watching this to see what happens here. If we head straight up, we could just continue straight up. This was a very nice break up. It broke the bigger picture resistance trend line. We shall see how it goes. All right, CC has a very nice support trend line. It's not broken that support trend line. If it's going to go lower, that's in the 2180 area, and that needs to break. If it's not going to go lower, then the obvious next trend line target would be this trend line here in the 2325 area, and we may well be going to see that. So we shall see. No current divergence. Okay, ZW. This is interesting because we've gone back to the obvious trend line target and we've broken it. That puts ZW in a provisional bottoming process, and we may well have made this low. That would be great. So it could be that we're forming an alternate resistance trend line, not taking anything for granted here, but we've got no negative divergence, it's broken resistance, and we have a potential IHS neckline or asymmetric double bottom resistance currently in the 530 area. So watching to see whether it goes there and what happens there. Okay, let's have a look at corn. Corn hasn't moved a great deal, really. We've got no current divergence. In the event that we are heading back to trendline resistance, I've got that currently in about the 363 area. And overall, on the bigger picture charts, I really like a low in this area. Soy, pretty clear setup now. We've made it back to the trend line. This has defined the wedge. So the thick red trend line is the wedge support. We're in a falling wedge and we're at wedge resistance. That may break. We're on a 4-hour buy signal. We've got trendline resistance just above, weak pivot just above. If it can get above both, then we may well have a low here, which is great because soy is going to look very good as a long, I think, over the next year. Trade wars permitting, obviously. But I mean, the fact is, I don't think China imports 75% of the soy crop, and I think they would probably like to continue doing that. I don't know. It's hard to say with all this trade stuff, but this is a candidate low. Okay, great. In that case, I'm going to stop the recording there. What questions have we got?